welcome to another Dynamic CCTV technical video. Today we're going to take a look at the new Turbo X TVI camera from HIKVISION, which is part of their 𝐂𝐨𝐫𝐕 range of cameras. The 𝐂𝐨𝐫𝐕 obviously being very good at low light image capturing. It's got an f1.0 lens and a very low lux image sensor. It's also got a 20-meter visible warm white light LED to back up the low light electronics. It's available in a turret design, which we can see here. It's also available in a bullet design. The turret has a model number of DS2CE72D0T-PIRXF 1080p unit, and it comes in a varying lenses of 2.8mm, 3.6 and 6mm variants for different fields of view. It works down to 0.0005 lux without the white light enabled. The white light will then come on at the lower lux levels to back up and maintain good quality image in low light. It's a 4-in-1 unit, which basically means it can deliver 4 different image signals, obviously only one at a time, but you can change between them by holding this little push button in for 5 seconds. It can support TVI, which is its flagship signal. It's also got AHD and CVI, which are alternative HD over coax signals, and conventional CVBS, which is obviously your old school PAL signal. So it'll support all 4 of those one at a time by holding that button in there. Unit's also got an alarm output connection on it, so if you need to wire anything in close proximity, anything third party to be triggered to operate under event conditions, and you can do it using the alarm output relay. This can be controlled at the back end DVR now with a new firmware, which is 4.21.000. It's now available for the 7.2 series, and I would imagine the rest of the range very shortly. But that gives you the ability to set your relay output as part of the linkage action. Now, one of the major selling points of this particular camera is the built-in deterrents it has that can be set to operate under event conditions. It's got a built-in siren, which gives off a rather loud and nasty noise, and it's also got a red and blue flashing light on the front. Those 2 deterrent options can be set again under the back-end linkage action of your event, whether it be motion detection or intrusion stroke line crossing smart events. You can set these up individually from the back end. You can also set them up on individual schedules that are separate to the linkage action schedule as well. That's something that we'll look at a little bit later. So very good deterrents built in. It's also got another massive selling point, which is the built-in PIR, which is this part of the camera here. It's 11-meter range PIR with a 110-degree field of view, but this can be used in conjunction with motion detection to basically give more stable alarm conditions and more stable alarm triggering. Obviously, as we all know, conventional VMD can be troublesome in terms of false alarms. It can be triggered quite easily through the likes of pixel noise or shadows, car headlights, etc. Through the back end controls, you can set the actual motion detection triggering to operate only when both motion and a PIR triggering occurs. So not only do you get the motion detection activity in the image, you also have to be emitting an amount of infrared heat in order for the PIR to trigger. So a double knock situation there, and obviously eliminating a lot of potential false alarms as well. So a couple of very good features built in this camera, which we'll obviously move on now and take a look at within the menu settings of the camera. We'll also set it up on the DVR and see the camera in action. Okay, now I've got the Turbo X camera connected to a DVR, and we can see there we've got the image on the screen. I've conveniently pointed at one of our demonstration boards just to get a good contrast between the OSD menu text and the background. So if we have a look at some of the menu settings in the camera, which we can do by bringing the PTZ control interface up, as I've already done there. Clicking on the iris open button will bring the OSD menu up. There you can see we've got a list of options. So for today we want to be looking at smart light settings here and also the function settings. So if we go into smart light settings first of all, we've got several options in here in relation to the white light, the visible white light. So the first setting is obviously enables us to turn the light on or off. So we've got an auto setting, which basically means the light will switch on and off depending on the ambient light level. We've also got an off setting, which means that the light will obviously not come on at all regardless of how dark the scene gets. So generally you'd want it on the auto setting so you can make good use of the light. There's a threshold setting which we've got there that can actually be set from 1 to 3. That's actually a sensitivity setting, so that basically allows us to choose how sensitive we want the switching of the white light to be. The higher the figure, the more sensitive it'll be, and the earlier the white light will come on at the higher lux level as such. And 1 will mean that the light will come on at the very latest opportunity in terms of lux level. White light level there from 1 to 5, an intensity level which you can set. Generally you would choose that based on the scene in which the camera's looking at and the range in which the light is spreading out, what sort of area. There's also 2 modes here at the bottom, mode 1 and mode 2. Generally it would be set to mode 1 out the box. That tends to use a little bit of additional exposure to get the very best out of the light and produce a more visible image. So that would be the recommended sort of setting to leave it on to get the very best low light image and use a little bit of the digital image processing. Mode 2 doesn't use the additional sort of exposure time, so you would still gain the benefits of using the white light, but obviously you wouldn't gain the benefits of that additional exposure time to brighten up the image. So if we go back 1 into the main menu and go down into functions, here we've got some settings that relate to the onboard deterrents and also the PIR sensor itself. So the first option there was we've got a PIR level, which is nothing to do with the range of the PIR sensor. That will always be 11 meters. It's more down to the sensitivity, how sensitive it is to detected heat. So the more sensitive you set it, the more likely it is to react to moving heat sources in the image. So that is really something that you would have to gauge based on potential nuisance tripping in the scene, whether there is anything that could potentially set it off that wasn't obviously human activity. You could then obviously knock the sensitivity down or up, whichever you require. So we've then got a detection mode setting, which is indoor and outdoor. Basically the indoor setting increases the sort of reaction time and also the sensitivity of the detector on how it reacts to heat, with it more attuned to more close range environments. The outdoor adjusts the PIR detection for more outdoor environments, but also makes it a little bit more resilient to outdoor factors that could create nuisance tripping, such as sunshine and hot winds, etc. So it basically makes the sensor more resilient to any kinds of nuisance tripping that they might cause, and obviously it attunes it more to human activity in an outdoor environment. Down 1 we've got alarm time, which again is set to default to 5 seconds out the box. This can be adjusted up to 60 seconds, and this is the actual duration in which the onboard flashing red and blue light and also the siren will behave for under an event triggering. So that can be set, whatever your requirement is there, up to a minute. Obviously for the purpose of today we'll leave it on 5 seconds. We've also got a volume setting there for the onboard siren, which is medium as default, but that can be low, medium or high, again depending on circumstances and the environment which the camera is installed in. So that's the actual camera's onboard settings in relation to the white light and also event linkage deterrents. There is obviously a lot of other settings in the menu that you can play around with and take advantage of, but for the purpose of today we'll just stick to looking at those settings there, and obviously if you require any additional information in terms of what's available in the camera's menus, and obviously get in touch with Dynamic CCTV direct. Okay, I've repositioned the camera now to look in the opposite direction with a couple of our promotional banners, just to make the flashing light demonstration a little bit more impressive. So what we want to do first of all in order to demonstrate that is to set up a motion detection event. So if we go to System, across to Event on the left, as you can see here, you'll see there motion detection is the first option. So what we've got here is a basic VMD setup that you'll find on GUI 4, no different really. Put a tick in the tick box at the top to enable that. We've got a full screen grid enabled. We've also got a sensitivity of 20, which we'll leave. False alarm filter here is the tick box in there is what enables the PIR to kick in as a double knock. So adding stability to your alarms and obviously minimizing false alarms through can sometimes happen with conventional VMD. So if we leave that unticked for the moment and apply just motion detection, under linkage action we've got an audible warning there, so the recorder is going to give us a beep when motion detection is triggered. So if we go back to the live screen, bring the PTZ controls up, what I should be able to do is by bringing the menu up, you can see there that the menu has created a pixelation change in the image motion detection's reacted to that and created an alarm scenario. The unit beeped, and you can also see the bell appear in the top right hand corner. So if we come back out of there, go back to our event, but this time if we take false alarm filter, which is obviously the PIR kicking in as well, you can see there it's giving us a little message in relation to the detection range. OK, apply that. Go back to our PTZ controls. What I should be able to do is, as you can see, move up and down the menu options. The unit is behaving as normal. There's no event reaction, there's no beep, there's no bell in the top right hand corner. Obviously we've got motion detection, but we don't have any activity in front of the PIR, and therefore there's no event triggering taking place. So if I come out of the menu, go back to the motion detection event settings. So what we have here under linkage action is the ability to choose what part of the onboard deterrence the camera has we want to operate under an alarm condition. We know we've always had the back end options here, which is what the DVR will actually do under an event condition, but it actually gives us the flexibility here to choose what we want the actual camera's onboard deterrence to operate. So we've got the light, we've got the alarm out relay output, which is built into the camera, which we can choose to obviously go closed circuit. We've also got the siren. So what I'll do initially is we'll turn on the light and apply that. There's one other thing that is worth knowing in terms of what you can do with the back end of the unit. This particular unit is using firmware 4.21.000, which has the ability to do more with the linkage action of the Turbo X camera. These built-in linkage actions here, but you've also got a built-in schedule as well for each one of them. So we know we've got our normal arming schedule here. This is the main schedule, so it takes precedence. If your schedule's off here, like so, clear, like so, then that basically prevents any linkage action from taking place. But if you wanted some of the conventional DVR back-end event linkage to operate, but maybe not some of the built-in camera's linkage action, such as the siren or the actual light, what you can do is go into the settings here for your alarm output, which gives us additional schedules for each of the onboard event options that the camera has built in. So we can basically schedule, let's say, the light to be on or off, even though the main linkage action schedule's on, let's say for push notification or for email notification. If we didn't want the light to be on at a certain time, we can set that here. We can clear the schedule and stop the light from coming on and apply that inside here. But under the main sort of schedule, that's still on, so you've got your normal linkage action here operating under this schedule, but your camera linkage operating under these schedules here, and it just makes it a little bit more flexible. You know, you can turn the siren and the flashing light off in certain hours where you know there's going to be a lot of activity in front of the camera, but maybe keep your back end DVR schedule operating so you can still get some of the linkage action seen here coming through as well. So each one of these options here is fully customizable through its own schedule. So what we'll do is we'll demonstrate the camera in action. What I'm going to do is, see, we've got the light on at the moment, so the first thing I'll do is trigger it with the lights on. So if we apply light and sound, go back to the live image, I'm just going to put my hand in front of the actual camera so I can trigger the motion detection and the PIR. So I'll do that now. See, there we go, we've got flashing light, and we've also got the siren deterrent as well. So that's the flashing light and the siren both kicking off there together, just to give you an idea of how that would sound. But as I'm sure you'll agree, it's an excellent deterrent in terms of anybody obviously getting up to no good or getting into an area where they shouldn't be. So what I'll do next is I'll turn the light off in my little test room, so just bear me 1 second. And there you go, you can see an example there of the blue and red flashing light within the image. You can also see on the picture-in-picture the actual camera itself and the flashing lights on the camera, and as well as the siren. So So there we go. So as you can see, that it does affect the image when the red and blue flashing light is in operation. It is there mainly as a deterrent, you know, to warn somebody that what better sort of colour theme to use than a police siren colour theme flashing. So that's, you know, an excellent deterrent along with the siren. You do have the ability to set your own linkage duration within the front end of the camera as well, so that will operate the flashing light and the siren for the period of time that you want. And as shown, you've also got the onboard individual schedules for each one of those onboard deterrents as well, so you can fully customize how the camera behaves and at what hours it does what. So I'm sure you found this video interesting, and obviously the benefits of using the Turbo X camera. If you require any additional information on this product, then feel free to contact your account manager or Dynamic CCTV direct. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.